Hello, fellow explorers. We have some big emotional energy calling itself up to be released. What is it that you are being asked to let go of, move on from, and evolve towards? Let's go ahead and jump into this pick a card reading and find out. Hello, fellow explorers. Welcome to the Mystic Lemur. My name is Rita, and it is my honor to be your guide through the messages in this reading. Today, we are looking at the energies of the emotions that are bubbling up forth for you to release and to let go. So there is timelessness to this message. So whenever it is finding you, I do invite you to honor whatever it is that brought you here and how to listen, because there could be something big that's bubbling underneath the surface that's ready to come up. But the emotional energy, the historic energy around this particular reading is directed towards this big lunar eclipse full moon in Cancer that we have coming up on the 11th or the 10th of January. So that's either 111 or 101, depending on where you are in the world. And it's also immediately coming before a big conjunction of Saturn and Pluto a couple days afterwards. So there's a lot of energy that's being asked to come into the light and be released. So this is a lunar eclipse. That means that more of the subconscious personal rather than persona out in the world things are being asked to come up. This is coming at the tail end of this portal that we had between 2019 and 2020. So at the end of 2019, we had the solar eclipse in Capricorn with the new moon in Capricorn. So that may have brought up for many of you, especially if you have strong Capricorn or Cancer in your charts, because those are counterposed in the zodiac wheel. So they have this relationship to each other. It may have brought up a lot about your business, your finance, your way that you create status in the world, the way that you are creating your legacy, and a lot of it being more on the persona side. So the side that other people see of you. And now that we're coming into this sort of flip side of the eclipse cycle, we're coming into the lunar eclipse in this full moon in Cancer, which is asking us to bring forth more of those subtle personal things that aren't necessarily open to other people's immediate view. And with it being in Cancer, it's going to be much to do with the emotions, interpersonal things, especially with family, particularly in the house, particularly in your household or how you feel about your home, and with mothering. So both your mother or your mother figure, whoever's a mother figure in your life or has been a mother figure in your life, or how you mother and nurture yourself. So a lot of these things will be, again, being invited to come forth to the surface. And again, with this big conjunction of Saturn and Pluto coming up afterwards, a lot of it will have to do, for many of us, with karma. So this big conjunction has a lot to do with bringing forth those things that have been sort of piling up in the background, either in our own personal lives or even through ancestral or past life regressions. That just keep coming up. So with this particular full moon, the invitation will be to consciously step into, especially if there's some shadows that are coming forth to you, stepping into what is revealing itself to you so that you can transmute it, let it go, quit that cycle that's no longer serving you, and step into your next evolution. So again, whatever time you are finding this reading, there may well be some big event that's coming forth to you, and your spirit is asking you to listen in to some of the advice that might be offered here. So we'll go ahead and settle in to let that inner being step forward so that we can really tap into the messages that are being offered through this reading. So we'll go ahead and do that by finding our comfortable seated position, either on a chair or on the floor, anywhere where you can begin to get a sense of roots growing deep into the Mother Earth beneath you, roots growing out of your feet, out of your legs, out of your sits bones, deep down into the nourishing energy, supportive energy of Mother Earth, pulling that nourishment up through those roots, shooting it out through the stacked spine, out through the crown of the head, and shining it forth through the heart. As we take 3 cycles of mindful breath to let that inner being step forward and speak to us. So we'll start with 1 big belly breath in, and exhale. Inhale, breath in, and exhale. 1 more big breath in, and exhale. So honing in on the pile that may be speaking to you, we have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. That's pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. And if you feel you need a few more moments to help your inner being guide you to the pile that is speaking you, pile or piles that are speaking to you for this reading, go ahead and pause the video right now, and we'll go ahead and jump on into pile number 1. All right, pile number 1. For our first set of questions, we'll be looking at what are the emotional energies that are surrounding you and coming up for you in order to be released. So first we're going to look at how, group number 1, how have you been nourishing your emotional self in the past 6 months? What's sort of been coming up for you? Where have you been in your emotions in the past 6 months? We have the 3 of Pentacles. So 3 of Pentacles is a card that is a lot to do with creativity and also to do with this blue energy here. We have sort of that Vishuddha, throat chakra truth. So you have been sitting in a space, group number 3, where you've been tapping into your creativity, which is a really it's one of the best ways to tap into your emotional body. And maybe you've been thinking about doing or have been actually doing some painting with this particular image or other sorts of visual or any sorts of art, so vocal, poetry, writing, and doing so in a way that's really tapping into your emotions in a way that is bringing up your truth. So you've been in a space where you've been really kind of active and mindful in that bringing reality and truth to your emotional states in the past 6 months, group number 1. And then where in your life how has this led to you being where you are right now? And what is it in your life that you are currently being called to heal? What are you ready to heal from this work that you've been doing, group number 1? We have the 8 of Pentacles, very interesting. So maybe what you've been looking for, group number 1, got 3 on the mind. Group number 1 is that you've been really focused on your productivity, really focused on being very industrious in the way that you are living your life. And it could be that this has to do with this, you're trying to make your creativity something that you can earn a living off of. And this is something that you're ready to step away from, that maybe there's some limiting beliefs around whether or not you can actually make money from your creative endeavors, with this, letting your soul sing out, but maybe no one else will appreciate it. The right people will find you. The only way that you can test that out is to try, right? So whatever this is in how you believe that you need to be productive or how you think that productivity should work is something that you're ready to really look into. And being that we're in Capricorn season, this might be tied in with whatever came up for you at the persona side of your life through the solar eclipse earlier in Capricorn season. We also have the numerology of 8 here, so it could be that you are again looking at how you're manifesting things through your creativity, and this is something that you're ready to really come into your full scope of. All right, group number 1, how else have you been sitting in this space to allow yourself to be ready to open your heart, to have that free-flowing heart chakra energy while also maintaining healthy boundaries? you have the Queen of Swords. Very beautiful here, group number 1. So you're in a space where you are mastering this creative side, but doing so in a way that's also bringing your mind into alignment in a mature sort of space. So it could have been before, whatever was coming up for you with you needing to bring truth to your emotions through your expression. This is sitting you in a space where you're ready to bring your mind back into the game. You're ready to, if you were in a space where maybe you were feeling a bit gossipy or a bit cold before, that's definitely it. So there may have been some space here before where you were feeling like you needed to be productive to be worthwhile, and that's made you feel like you needed to be quite shut off and quite cold. And what you're ready to do now is trust yourself that you can have this sort of emotional enmeshment with people without them enveloping you. You don't need to have this sword out and at the ready. You can sort of put it at ease, because you can have that beautiful, loving, open heart without letting it be an energy drain. So there are ways that you can keep your vibration, keep your energy high enough that it doesn't sort of all fall right out of you when someone comes to be in your space. This is especially relevant for people who identify as being highly empathic, or even on the being an empath. You don't necessarily need to worry too much about putting active protections up, because if you can keep your heart space in a bliss, looking through the eyes of love enough, that the people who would do you harm just won't even be able to connect with you. It's the sort of thing that you almost have to experience to really fully understand it. And so give it a try. The advice that I would say here is, again, bringing that mind into service of you. The next time you notice your mind wandering off into a place that's trying to disconnect from people or shut people out, just try to love into that. So think about but for the grace of God, there I would be. So how would I feel in that situation? Using your perspective taking, using your empathy and compassion to think about what their perspective might be in this situation, and let your guard back down so that you can stay in this open-hearted space and know that kindness is free. You don't need to keep your guard up and worry about what you're making, what is yours, because all you need is already in your heart. So I hope that's making sense to you, group number 1. Please let me know, comments below, how that's resonating for you. We also have for you, group number 1, which of your emotions are no longer serving your highest good? Which of your emotions are still pretty prevalent for you, but not doing as much for you as they used to? We have the Devil in reverse. Well, that is, again, coming up under here, this creativity. The Devil upright could be coming up because we're still in Capricorn season at the time of this reading. It also speaks of restrictions. It speaks of attachments. And coming up in reverse, that would indicate some kind of either you're internally blocked, internally restricted, or there could be some indication that you need to look to how you're healing yourself, because the card before this would be the Temperance card. And coming up in reverse, it might also be indicating that you're not fully accepting. So I'm coming back to this idea of being cold, you're detached too much. You're using your creativity to separate yourself in some ways from that shadow work that you might be needing to do. So this could be another indication that you're trying to push away this sense of this part of you that you don't like. But when there's a part of you that you don't like, you're going to see it in other people. So that might be also coming up here for if you're feeling like you need to be really distant from people. And this will manifest itself in very apparent ways through this full moon cycle. And it may be coming up for you in ways that are very apparent right now. But yeah, this tells me that you may be trying to detach from other people a bit too forcefully, or you're, I'm getting like, in psychology, there's this term that we use for how children attach to their parents, and this can also reflect in how adults have relationships with each other. This is attachment. You can have secure attachment, you can have insecure avoidant attachment, and you can have insecure anxious attachment. So upright would almost be speaking more of the anxious attachment kind, where you're very clingy, you're very stuck, you're very sort of like addicted to a person. And in the reverse, it might be more of an indication of avoidant attachment, which is where, again, you're trying not to connect with people and you don't trust love because maybe someone hurt you pretty badly in the past. And again, like, the karma might be what's coming up to be absolved, so you can move past that. Because you're here because you don't want to live that way anymore. This message has found you for a reason. So do let me know in the comments below what that might be pulling up for you, group number 1. But for our next question, what aspects of yourself do you need to be the mother of? What do you need to mother yourself in right now? We have the Ace of Swords in reverse. So the Ace of Swords upright. This is the very sort of highest, most spiritual level of all of the air signs. So the root of all the air signs could be that there's some aspect of your personality or your life that is resonating with air sign energy. So that would be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So the way that you use your mind, the way that you connect, again, with this energy of being cold and detached, could be more in the Libra domain, that you need to connect with people better, or manage the way that you balance your connections with people, or the way that you do things normally. So be a little bit more revolutionary in the way that you do things. It's more of the Aquarius energy. In reverse, this may be indicating, again, that this has to do with it being out of balance, or it's not something that, it's something that you need to make a breakthrough through. So yeah, again, I'm getting a lot of that. It's something about how you need to balance your mind in the way that you are approaching the relationships in your life with that sort of air sign Libra energy. Or it could be that there is someone in your life who has a lot of Libra traits, heavy Libra presence in their chart, who is maybe some motherly element to you that you need to look to as a figure to emulate in mothering yourself. Finally, we have for you, group number 1, what do you need to release in order to trust in life? We have 6 of Swords. All right, so 6 of Swords, very lovely card, speaking of moving from turbulence to tranquility. And it's also, to me, right now, what I'm getting is surrender. So in order, we have this woman at the prow here who is looking out into the future, and the man with the oars, but he's not sort of actively pushing the oars right now. He's not actively rowing. And so what I'm seeing here is that you need to sort of like let go of trying to steer this boat and trust that the universe is going to be taking you where you need to go. So whatever this thing that you've needed to release your emotions about to be able to make better connections with people, you need to trust that the universe is taking you there by allowing yourself to come back into that space of tranquility. It's coming into a quiet mind, taking that time in solitude that you need to let the emotions settle, especially, again, if you have a lot of empathic traits. Other people's energy can get very heavy, and so taking that time to let it go, release, and let yourself come back to that space of peace. So we also have for you, group number 1, some more specific advice relevant to the lunar eclipse that's a part of this full moon in Cancer. So what first are the karmic or ancestral patterns that you are being called to release? We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So lots of pentacle energies again. So the Knight is all about service, sort of the hero in the deck. And the hero, this particular hero, this Knight, is all about planning. And we got a lot of this red in the background, so very earthy as well. So the karma that you're being asked to release right now, group number 1, has to do with the way that you are sort of stuck in thinking that you need to have the plan completely in place before you can take a step. So you need to, again, with this surrender here, take a little bit more space to surrender. Don't try to control things so hard. Again, something may have been quite painful for you in the past, and that may be giving you this desire to sort of like lock it down and control it with a tight grip. But that the more you try to grip things, the further they run away. Again, if this is speaking to you, group number 1, from a space of being avoidant in your attachment, you will know that very well. If someone tries to grip onto you, you just want to run right away. So you might be having that sort of in reverse, that you know that you do that. So could also be something to do with if you've ghosted on someone. Different messages for different folks, but the karma that you might be dealing with is that you have this pattern of either wanting to grip onto people really tightly and control them, or flit away and be really flaky and ghost on people a lot. And that might be something that you're being called to release at this time. How then are you ready to evolve, group number 1? We have the Fool. Amazing. I love this card. You are ready to take that leap of faith. You are ready to step into the new age. You're ready to shed this. You're ready to be done. Yeah, you're ready for this new cycle to begin. And you know what you need to do, because you know that you know as soon as you can surrender, as soon as you can let go of trying to control things and let go of being cold and distant, you know that you can jump off that cliff because the universe has you. You are completely supported, group number 1. What must you listen to at this time, group number 1? Ace of Wands in reverse. All right, so this is again that root of all the fire signs. So it could be that your inner fiery nature, if you have a lot of fire sign in your chart, or that sort of energy of the fire signs being Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I happen to be a Sagittarius sun, so maybe this is that you should be listening to my advice. But putting that in the reverse, it really should be the inner knowing that you're getting from your own energy. So really paying attention to, again, if you have a lot of empathic traits, how particular situations are affecting your energy, and really being honest about that, and being situated in your truth. Again, these blue coming up, being situated in your truth, and being willing to say that's not right for me because my energetic body is telling me that this is the big red flag, or even just a tiny little amber flag. It's not right for you. And finally, we have, how can you consciously let go? So what are the things that you can consciously be letting go of? We have the Chariot upright. So that's a very interesting thing to be letting go of. So this is also a card that is ruled by Cancer. So it's a card that is all about pushing forward with inspired action. So this could be, again, a call for you to release and surrender more than you push forward. If you're doing if you're doing full moon manifestation rituals, full moon release rituals, definitely do continue to do them, but do them in a way that's more flowing and more accepting, more receiving. Might be a call that you could be actively trying to channel things if you have guides who can channel to you. Or again, just not pushing so hard, but trusting that you are supported. Coming up under the Fool, this means that you're going to have the energies that support you right now are very much in favor of you succeeding. So this might be a rough ride with this particular full moon new lunar eclipse, especially because a lot of old stuff might be bubbling up, stuff from very early in childhood or even in different lifetimes. But you got this. You're supported. You can take that leap of faith. And the background energy for you, Ace of Pentacles. So a new direction in your physical space. Also, the root of the earth signs. So I'm getting like Mother Earth, or, you know, if you're a Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, your earthy energies are very much supporting you in the background here. And there could be an earth sign who's person with a lot of earth sign energy in their personality that is also around to help you. So we have some words of wisdom from the flowers for you, group number 1. We have first, anemone, optimism, look up and look brightly. Yep. So again, with this Queen of Swords energy here, I'm seeing, plus the devil, you know, this might not be all fun and games, but look up, look at the bright side of this, and, you know, living with an open heart, shifting to choosing to see the positive in people and in things. We have Stephanotis, cooperation, take the hand offered or asked. Yep. Again, if this is coming up for you because you've had some avoidant attachment traits or patterns in the past, if someone is stepping forward to help you, trust them. Again, you know, use your discernment. Your inner being will always know best. Your inner voice will always know best. Listen to your gut, listen to your heart. But do know that you can ask for help and you can be cooperative. You can help other people and you can take their help. You don't have to do this alone. And finally, we have African Violet, spirituality. It's time to connect with what you believe. Right, so that's another indication that you really need to be listening in to what your guides are telling you here. And everyone does have them. Often, if you don't think that you can hear them, it's because they're so prevalent. It feels like it's just you. So just, you know, listen to the things that just sort of randomly pop in your head. As long as they're in present tense and spoken in a loving way, they're very likely your guides. If they're past or future and talking through anxiety or fear or anger or negativity towards you or anyone else, probably not a voice that you need to amplify. But doing the rituals of releasing through this full moon cycle, doing meditation, coming back into that space of quiet will very much help you. And finally, our words of healing wisdom for you, group number 1, this beautiful green card, some more of that heart energy here. We have use equanimity to calm your emotions. Yep, that's tying in again with this spirituality here, and then coming back into that space of peace. So again, this might be quite a turbulent emotional time. Full moon in Cancer will do that, and then add in a lunar eclipse. Lots of stuff may come up, but just sit in a space of quiet and try to tap into the observer, right? So who is the me that sees the things that's happening to me? Tap into that eye that is watching and be like, oh, now I'm feeling sad. Okay, thank you, sadness. Thank you for teaching me the lessons that you've had to teach me. I let you go. Oh, now I'm feeling angry. Okay, thank you, anger. Thank you for letting me hear the lessons that you have for me, and I release you. Sitting in that space of not attaching, so you might already be good at not attaching, but not thinking that your emotions are you. They're just a thing that are coming. It's like a cloud in the sky. It too will pass. All right, those are our messages I have for you, group number 1. I hope this resonated for you in some way, please let me know in the comments below what sort of came up for you with this. What do you think this is about? And let me know how it goes. And if you like this video, you might want to give it a like. And if you really vibed with this video, you might like to give us a subscribe and maybe even hit that bell notification button, because it really does help the channel continue to evolve. And I hope to see you again very soon. Until then, we're going to go ahead and go on to group number 2. Group number 2. Group number 2. What are the emotions, the karmic patterns, the lessons that you're being asked to learn to nourish yourself and level up in your evolution through this energy of the Cancer new moon lunar eclipse that is around at the time of this reading? So first, some messages around that full moon. Did I say new moon? It's full moon. Full moon in Cancer energy that is going on right now. How, group number 2, have you been nurturing yourself? How have you been showing up for yourself in your emotional body in the past 6 months? What's been going on with your emotions in the past 6 months or so? We have the 3 of Swords. Very interesting. So in the traditional Rider-Waite, the 3 of Swords is often to do with grief and to do with heartache. The imagery is a heart and 3 swords piercing it. In this deck, it's more about loneliness, isolation, feeling like you're out in the wilderness, out on this journey, and it's cold, it's dark, you've got this weather-beaten banner. So you've been out on the trail for a while. So it could be group number 2, what I'm seeing for you is that what I'm seeing for you with this 3 of Swords energy here is you might be feeling like you're in a bit of a long dark night of the soul. You got this dark energy here, we've got the snow. You might be feeling quite lonely, quite out sort of on your own. But do know here we've got this horizon here with the dawn coming, but it might well be darkest before the dawn. So do please know, group number 1, if this resonates for you, that you're not alone, but sometimes the best way out is through. And so why you're here for this reading is to get some insight into how you can step out of that dark night. So what do we have for you, group number 2, about where you are in your life that is ready to be healed? So we have the 8 of Chalices, 8 of Cups, upright. So this is saying to me, group number 2, that again, we've got this dark energy here, this nighttime energy. You could be in that long dark night sense of being in that dark night of your soul, but whatever it is that sparked you into that, you're definitely ready to step away from it. You're moving away from that thing that doesn't deserve you, that doesn't serve you anymore. You're on that journey, you're out in the dark, you're out in the wilderness, but you're moving towards the light. Through this intuitive knowing. So we've got that full moon energy here as well. So this full moon is supporting you in healing from whatever has sparked you into this dark night. And so what are you being asked to do, group number 2, to enable you to open your heart? How can you keep your heart open, that flowing heart chakra energy going, while also maintaining healthy boundaries for yourself and for others? We have Justice in reverse. So Justice, this is a card that's ruled by Libra. It's all about balance, and it's also often to do with karma. So coming up in reverse, what I'm seeing here is we have all this green energy again. So that this question is specifically about how to open your heart. It's green cloaked in red. So what I'm seeing for you, group number 2, is to do a lot of grounding rituals, do a lot of grounding meditations. So spending time in nature, really getting out into nature to balance yourself. Just before doing this reading, I was out in the garden pulling potatoes. So just like getting your hands in the dirt, being in nature. If you like plants, being around plants. If you like gardening, being around the garden. If you like going out into the woods, go have a walk in the woods. And really, again, get back into your body and get back into your present moment by being with nature. And again, grounding your heart. Or you might like to hang out with some stones, like stones, if that resonate for you. Could also be crystals. So smoky quartz is a very popular one. But again, doing that grounding to have that space where you can open your heart and get your heart feeling open, because if you're in this dark night, it might feel like you need to keep it closed. But the best way forward is to keep that openness in your loving energy and grounding into Mother Earth, like we did in the card selection, imagining roots growing deep into earth and drawing that nourishing energy up to open and shine out through your heart. Great medicine. So what group number 2 do we have to suggest to you about which of your emotions are no longer serving your highest good? What sort of emotions might still be following you around but aren't really serving you anymore? So that could be what you're being asked to walk away from here. We have the Ten of Swords. So very interesting. All right. Ten of Swords coming up in reverse. So upright, this is basically an ego death. I often see this card as an ego death. It's also sort of the minor arcana version of the Tower. So like this is the feeling that you get from the Tower. Tower moments being like sudden, shocking transformations, breakthroughs that can be quite painful because they are so sudden. Coming up in reverse, if this dark night was sparked for you because of some catastrophic change, you are ready to begin to ground your heart into the earth, balance out the sense of maybe injustice that has happened in that space, because this is speaking to me that you're feeling grief right now, and that whatever sense of grief or injustice that you might be carrying around, you're ready to step away from it. You're ready to release that, make that breakthrough by knowing that we got a Swords energy coming up in pairs as well. Your mind is ready to release that as well. So your mind is ready to come back into alignment by tapping into your heart. What aspects of yourself, group number 2, are you being called to mother for yourself? What sort of motherly energies are you being asked to bring forth to help nurture yourself through this time? We have the Knave of Wands in reverse. So the Knave of Wands is all about taking a new direction in your energy. So coming up in reverse, that might be indicating that, again, for this being something that you really need to be doing to protect your own energy. So thinking about how you can stand up for the way that you are experiencing the energies around you. So if people are constantly pushing you for things that you don't feel really aligned with, stepping up and saying for yourself, no, that's not actually for me, but thank you. Thank you for the invitation, especially if this is to do with like people who are giving you drama or trying to bring their drama to you. It's like, thank you very much, but not my monkey, not my circus. I'm going to decide that I don't want to be a part of this gossip. I don't want to be a part of this drama. And really the way that you can nourish yourself is protecting your energy and really looking to how you are maintaining your energy within yourself rather than trying to get it from someone else and taking that into a new direction. And then we have for your group number 2, what do you need to release right now in order to trust more in life? We have the Stars. So this is a card that's ruled by Aquarius. Might also be speaking to this direction that you want to take, like if you're trying to really force yourself out of this dark night. Again, we got this darkness energy, so the spark of hope is there for you, but you may be in a space where you're not quite looking for it in the right way. And then again, it's ruled by Aquarius, so there could be some strong Aquarius energy in your chart or in your life right now, and that's all about revolution. So partly, what I'm seeing for you, you might be in this long dark night because you are really upset at how the world is going right now, and fair enough. If you look only at the post-manifestation observation of the world right now, it's pretty grim. But what you are being called to do instead is, release that grip on what is present now that's giving you this sense of being in grief and despair. And again, it's very valid to feel that way. Your feelings are valid. I'm not here to tell you anything other than that. But what you are here to do, because you're here to hear this message, is to step past that and embrace not the revolution that's going to be coming from this release and from the karma that will be absolved through this release, but the paradigm shift. So we don't want just a revolution. Revolutions are bloody and they're unstable and they don't last. What we want is a full-on paradigm shift. And we are ready to make that happen. But first, we need to mother ourselves and ground back into the earth that really is already here. Yeah. And this is also card number, it's really interesting that these two come up together. So we'll have a chat about them. I see these two as sort of like the level up of each other. So this is numerology 8, and this is numerology 16. So that's, 8 twice. Sorry, 17. Excuse me, I can do math. So numerologically, this is card number 17 in the major arcana, but you condense that down, it also becomes 8. So it's like the level up in the major arcana of 8. Of justice. So whatever injustice that you have felt with this star coming up right beneath it, you're ready to release that injustice and come into this space of hope and embrace the paradigm shift that's coming, not by pushing it, not by shoving it forward, but by allowing it to come forth, by releasing these low vibrational grief, sadness feelings that have been holding you back. All right, group number 2. We have some additional messages for you specifically about the lunar eclipse portion of this full moon in Cancer. We were speaking about karma just a few minutes ago. What are the karmic or ancestral patterns that you are ready to release? We have the 3 of Wands upright. So immediately I'm seeing a lot of orange in this card. So that speaks to me of the sacral chakra. So could be that some way that you are sitting in physical pleasures is not serving you right now. And this is also a card that's all about expansion. So you're also being called to let the karmic release of shifting away from this thing that's putting you in this dark night. As you step out of the night, you're going to be coming into this new phase of awakening, of expansion. We also can see this sort of reverberation of this dawn emerging over here. This is the more fully realized dawn. So looking out into the distance, looking into the new phase. If you're into archangels, I also kind of get the imagery of what Metatron might look like. So it could be that you're being asked to, if you speak to higher beings, angels, maybe Metatron is someone who might be good for you to have a chat to. And what can we offer you as advice, group number 2, about how you are ready to evolve? So all of this is going on for you. How are you ready to step up into the next phase? We have strength in reverse. So a fair bit of major arcana happening for you here, group number 2. So strength upright, lots of purple, lots of insight. Also a card that reminds me of that sort of more scary element of Mother Nature, the cleansing kind of, when things aren't going right, they're going to be washed away by the strength of Mother Nature that is like, nope, that's not for you. No more evil. Coming forth and riding the lion in Hindu pantheon. I'm not a theologian of Hindu religion, but I do know about it from my contact with it through yoga. And so Durga is the goddess that I think of with this card. And so having this coming up in reverse, calling you to open up your insight, tap into your insight, maybe he's doing some third eye meditations, but also evolving into your inner strength, stepping into your inner strength and acknowledging the gifts that you have. So again, if you're feeling like you don't have enough right now, or if you're feeling you're in that space of loneliness, doubt, dark, coming into this light, coming into this expansion as you release this karma will help those gifts open up for you. And you'll know exactly what you have to work with, or you'll have more even to work with than you felt like you had before, because it's going to be unfolding for you. What must you listen to at this time? I actually had 2 cards come out for you for this specific question, group number 2. What are you being asked to listen to right now? All right, so we have 6 of Chalices and 9 of Chalices. And let's go ahead and notice here that this is looking like a double Six of Chalices. So very much you're being asked to listen to your inner child right now, is what I'm seeing for you, group number 2. We got all this green energy and this sort of abundance of happiness. The Six of Cups is also a card that speaks of true friendship. Could be that you have actual children, not just your inner child around you. But in this space of, coming out of dark nights and leveling up spiritually, that's done by really nourishing your inner child and by stepping up from being, what you were as a naive child and becoming more of the mature child. So you've been through the darkness, you've been through the forest, you've been through the wilderness, you learned your lessons, but you're still fluid and open and carefree in the way that you let life come to you and accept life as it comes. Also, Nine of Chalices has to do with being very, fruitful and emotionally fulfilled, but in a way that sort of like he's got this all stacked up on a shelf behind him. So I also see that as being very generous. So sometimes I can see the Nine of Chalices being kind of like a miserly emotionally card. So really holding back emotions and sort of like protecting your emotional energy in a way that isn't, like preventing yourself from connecting with people. So connecting with your inner child and also connecting with being sort of emotionally generous with other people. And again, like I'm seeing this as a double six, so like really paying attention to this Six of Chalices energy here. This is like a huge message for you. Do inner child work, group number 2. That's going to get you through this. And finally, you definitely need to listen to your inner child. So go back to the stories that you loved as a kid. Go back to watching the movies that you loved as a kid. Go back to play. Play is going to be hugely important for you. Play outside. Do something that's fun. Finally, what are you being called right now, group number 2, to consciously let go of? Very interesting. You're being asked to let go of deception. Maybe someone deceived you, and that's what's been causing you this strife, this pain. It's put you in this dark night. We again have this dark energy here. And now we have a crescent moon. So you're being asked to let go of whatever amount of feeling like you've been deceived, feeling like you've been cheated, feeling like you've been let down. That's put you in this night. You're being asked to step out of this dark night, group number 2. And you're supported in doing so. The coming back to this hope, letting go of the grief, coming into your inner gifts, inner being. And the background energy supporting all of this, group number 2, we have the Hermit. So much of that dark night energy. Yep, so Hermit is ruled by Virgo, planning, being really, again, grounded and tactile. So and just, taking time to be in that hermiting period. So if you're in a space that's in winter right now, great time to do shadow work. There might be a lot of shadow that's coming up for you in this dark night. Following that inner beacon of your inner being. And knowing, again, that dawn is just on the horizon. So what are some words of wisdom from the flowers that we can share with you, group number 2? We have Wisteria, longevity, plan for and take the dedicated path. Yep, so that's that Virgo energy in the background. This is not a sprint, it is a marathon. So, also if you are in a space where you're in this dark night because you're being leveled up spiritually, spirituality isn't a hobby. It's not a thing that you just do. Especially this is a hard thing for us to get when we're living in secular societies, because it feels like we can have, our religious side or our spiritual side, and then we step out of that and, like we meditate for maybe 20 minutes if we're really good. We do a little bit of yoga, or we pray, we go to church, whatever floats your boat. And then once we stop doing that, it's like we don't have spirit anymore. Spirit's around you all the time. So it's always here to support you. So keep that in mind and really be dedicated in the way that you continue to let these emotions flow through you, let these lessons flow through you, and really let them help you level up. We also have tuberose, desire, be certain of where you place your passions. So again, if you're in this space of being in a dark night, might not feel like you have much passion for anything right now, but part of the reason why we came to experience the things that we do is because it helps us clarify what we really want. And so going through this, really shifting through the emotions that bubble up for you, and let them direct you to what it is that you don't want anymore. Because when you know what you don't want, you can redirect your intention to what you do want and really help that grow. We also have Red Rose, courage. Be brave, be strong, believe. Red Rose is also the wisdom card for group number 3, so there may be something for group number 3 that you like to look at as well. But yeah, be courageous and know that this too shall pass. Stepping into your inner strength and being the leader that maybe you didn't have, being the mother that you didn't have, being the parent that you didn't have. You know, whatever resonates for you. Different words, or different strokes for different folks. Different messages for different folks. But yeah. Finally, our words of wisdom for you, group number 2. Here's your words of wisdom card. Looks like this beautiful pastel rainbow smoke. Almost reminds me of like cotton candy floss. We have, take time to tune into your body and recognize the messages it's trying to send you. Take time to tune into your body and recognize the messages it's trying to send you. Yep. So your inner being, your group, your spiritual support team are very much talking to you. They're talking to you quite. You might be, especially if this is coming up from a recent tower moment. That tower moment may have been, the universe whispered, the universe tapped you on the shoulder, the universe patted you on the head, the universe kind of smacked you across the face, and then finally just like bowled you over. So you might have been recently bowled over, and so the spirit team might be speaking quite loud to you. So really just pay attention to the sensations that you have in your body, mindful of your energy, and it'll tell you where you need to go. All right, these are the messages I have for you, group number 2. I would love to know what came up for you. This was, again, kind of some heavy energy, but there's a bright spot. There's hope. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. You just need to keep walking through to walk towards it. So I'd love to know what your impressions are. Please let me know in the comments below. If you liked this video, give it a like. And if it really resonated for you, you might like to give this channel a subscribe. It does very much help the channel continue to grow. I look forward to seeing you again very soon, group number 2. And until then, we're going to move on to group number 3. Okay, group number 3. What are you being called to listen to in your emotions, to release? What karmic patterns are being brought up to be resolved? And how can you step into your next evolution through this energy of the full moon, lunar eclipse in Cancer that is going on at the time of this reading, group number 3? First, we have some messages for you about what's going on with this full moon in Cancer. We have first, how have you been nourishing your emotional self in the past 6 months? How have you been showing up for yourself emotionally for the past 6 months? What's going on for you right now and has been for the past half year or so? Group number 3. We have One of Chalices, or Ace of Chalices, Ace of Cups in reverse. So this is the root of all the water signs. It's sort of how the water signs are sort of stepped up into the spiritual realm before they've even become a subconscious thought. And coming up, so the water signs would be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Could be an indication that you are one of these signs or you have them prominent in your chart. So it could be helping you know that you've found the right reading. Coming up in reverse, this is looking to me like you have been running a cup dry a bit. You've either been blocking your emotional body, you've been trying specifically to separate yourself from your emotional body, or it's just been really painful to connect with, and so you haven't been wanting to listen to it, or you've really been sort of like trying to nourish everyone else but not really taking the time to take care of yourself over the past 6 months or so. And what can we offer you for advice, group number 3, about where you are, where in your life right now, with this sort of background energy of how maybe you've been depleting yourself or not listening to yourself for the past half year or so. Where are you ready to heal? Group number 3. We have the Knight of Wands in reverse. So the Knight of Wands is all about that sort of hero energy, hero energy, but in the domain of your energy. He's also pointing towards the past in the upright. So coming up in the reverse, we got a lot of green, very pastel green. So could also be dealing with how you've been diverting the energy of your love, how you've been diverting the energy of your heart. Could also do the suit of fire also has to do with spirit. So it could be that you're being asked to heal by bringing that heart energy forward and bringing it into service for yourself. The Knight of Wands is all about fiery action. So it could be that you need to, if you're very watery, if you have a lot of water in your chart, could be that you need to stoke your inner fire a little bit more to help yourself heal. And water and fire are thought to be sort of like counterposed in the elements, but in Ayurvedic systems, there's a personality theory that goes along with the nutrition theory. Pitta is a personality type, a body type that is very full of fire and of water, so like steamy. So it could be that you're being asked to activate more of that Pitta energy, maybe even eating spicier foods, maybe Ayurveda is something you could look into. Different messages for different folks. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. What are we able to offer you also, group number 3, as advice for how you can open your heart while maintaining healthy boundaries for yourself and for others? We have the Hanged Man in reverse. Interesting. So more water. There's another another card, this time in Major Arcana, so like archetypal energy here, to do with water. And in the upright, this is a card that is all about changing perspectives. But when it comes up in reverse, especially in this deck, it looks to me a lot like, he's sort of rooted down, tied down, but submerged in water so that he's sort of floating upwards. So this could be an indication that maybe you've been in a space because you've been depleting yourself and you haven't been really minding it. You need to be minding how you're directing your energy towards your own heart a bit more. You may have been in a space where you felt like you were drowning a bit, group number 3. So the image that I also have with this is, the old saying, no mud, no lotus. You can't, so let's step back for a moment. Lotuses are flowers that are often associated with realizing enlightenment, and they're a really beautiful metaphor because they grow in mud. And you can't get to enlightenment without having sense of that mud. You can't, like the lotus, they can't grow without muck. They can't grow without the growth. They can't grow without suffering. And so humans, like lotuses, cannot grow spiritually without the contrast. And you're here to experience that. So the way that you can open your heart is realizing that the suffering that you may have experienced, the sense of drowning that you may be experiencing, is here to serve you. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And looking at the blessings hidden in those challenges will help you very much to notice where your energy needs to be directed to serve you better. And with that in mind, group number 3, what are the messages we can offer you as advice for which emotions you're still carrying around with you that are no longer serving you? We have 4 of Pentacles in reverse. So 4 of Pentacles upright. The Rider-Waite reading for this often has to do with being a bit stingy in your... So the 4 in the Minor Arcana are the most stable. This is a very firm foundation in your physical existence because it's the Pentacles. the Rider-Waite version has an image of a man who's sort of like holding on to his pentacles. But in this deck, we have a man who appears to be thinking about what to write. Sort of in the moment of maybe even channeling, or sort of like indecision, maybe trying to find the right words to reach out to someone who perhaps hasn't been in contact with for a while. So, you know, whatever resonates for that to you. So this coming up, you may be blocking. It could be that you've been wanting to speak your truth about something to someone, sort of like have it out, but in a positive way with someone. And you've been sort of afraid to do so. You've been afraid to find the right words to say what you need to say. It could be, you know, like you need to tell someone that you love them. It could be that you need to tell someone that you can't be their whole world. Like, you know, with this emptying the cup energy here, you need to tell someone that they've been violating your boundaries, and you need to do so in a way that's loving, and you've been sort of hanging on that, like biting your tongue, not speaking your truth kind of thing is what I'm getting from that card. Again, it could also be that you've been overly generous with your money, right? So it could be that you've been depleting yourself emotionally, energetically. Again, this is coming up right after, historically, the time of this reading, right after the end of 2019 holiday season. So it could be that you overspent a bit and you're feeling a little bit nervous about that maybe that's a sense of lack that you're feeling. That's an illusion. So that's another thing that you might be being called to release. So what, group number 3, what aspects of yourself can you be mothering right now? What do you need to be nourishing for yourself? What do you need to be giving yourself more nourishing support in? We have 4 of Swords. So you need to take a rest. The best way that you can mother yourself right now, group number 3, is allow yourself to rest. You need to refill your cup by practicing some self-care. So the 4 of Swords, again, about the mind. So you need to let your mind come to peace, come to rest. Quiet down your mind. And this could be especially challenging historically at this time, because many of us are going back to our office jobs. So again, be mindful of how you're using your space energetically, and know that you can say no. The people who deserve to be around you, who are supposed to be around you, will stay. You don't need to worry about being a people pleaser. You will please people by being happy. You will please people by being your best self. And that best self is the one who can rise above. And for our last message about this full moon in Cancer, group number 3, what do you need to release right now? What are you being called to release at this time to help you trust life more? We have the High Priestess in reverse. Interesting. All right, so lots of that moon energy again. So the High Priestess, she is the space between yin and yang. She's that space between the duality. So what you are, if this is coming up in reverse, it's maybe that you are afraid of your inner being. You're afraid of you're afraid to sit in peace with your mind because you're not sure what's going to come up. So definitely, if this is about fear of yourself, fear of the unknown, fear of the subconscious, fear of your own mind, fear of being quiet, if any of that is resonating for you, you're definitely being asked to release that so that you can become this High Priestess for yourself, sort of transmuting this energy of the Hanged Man from feeling like you're drowning to feeling like you're rising up and popping up into enlightenment. So now some more messages for you, group number 3, about this this lunar eclipse that's also happening with this full moon in Cancer. First, what kind of karmic or ancestral pattern are you ready to release? You have 7 of Pentacles. Right, so this may be indicating that you've been quite impatient, or there's the rewards. You've done the karmic work already. And so these 7 of Pentacles, we have this imagery of this person, this fellow who's out and admiring the fruits of his labor. He's got this basket on his back ready to collect them, but they're not quite ripe yet. So these gifts, these fruits of your karmic labor are coming ready. coming ready for you to harvest them. We're not quite there yet. How are you ready to evolve? Group number 3. We have the King of Wands. All right, so again, we've got this wand energy leveling up. So the King of Wands is like that father figure. He is the patriarch, but in the the positive way of being like the grandfather, the loving father, the provider, the support. Definitely in line with the divine masculine, and the archetype of the king is like Aragon in the Lord of the Rings, that sort of true, pure, spiritually aligned leader. So you are ready to evolve into being that king in your own life. So it doesn't matter if you identify primarily as masculine or feminine. Everyone has masculine and feminine traits, and so you are in this space where you're ready to be that supportive but firm father figure to yourself in the way that you're using your energy, the way that you're using your spirit. What must you listen to at this time, group number 3? What are you being called to pay more attention to? We have the wheel. Very interesting. So you are completing this karmic cycle. That's possibly what you're being asked to pop into awareness about. So this is also a card that's ruled by Jupiter. So you need to listen to your intuition as to whether you should take opportunities. Inspired action is what I'm saying for this. Like when you get the wheel coming up for you, luck is on your side. The gifts of Jupiter are possibly the karmic releases that you're being invited to accept. So you're supported in spinning the wheel. You're supported. The wheel of fortune is turning in your favor. So when that inspiration comes to you, trust it. Don't be afraid, and step forward. Your discernment will lead you in the right direction. And if you're holding back because of fear, know that you can let that go. And finally, what can you consciously be letting go of? Group number 3. 9 of Swords. Yep. So that's what I was saying. Like if you're fearful, if you're anxious about something, you are supported in letting go of the anxiety that's keeping you in this space of feeling like you're drowning. So this anxiety that's making you stay a people pleaser, making you say yes when you really mean no, making you say no when you really mean yes. The people who are supposed to be around you, the people who support you, your true vibe tribe, your true soul family, they will come, they will stay, they will resonate towards you. You don't need to chase them. You don't need to demean yourself. You don't need to reduce yourself in order to bring them into your life. As soon as you realize your value and speak that truth, they'll come to you. It won't happen instantaneously. It will take a little bit of time, especially if you've been living in this space for quite a while. There's going to be some momentum built up in that direction. But what you're being called to do right now is to let go of that anxiety, let go of those nightmares, because they're just illusions. Finally, background energy for you, group number 3, we have the Hierophant. All right, so this is a card ruled by Taurus, lots of earthy root chakra energy, and also your beliefs, your established belief system. So look to your beliefs, especially your beliefs about what you're fearful of. And there could be a teacher who's here for you, who's also around to support you. This could be a guide, a spirit teacher, or a person who's able, so spirit speaks to us directly and also speaks to us through other people. So like the spiritual lessons that you would get from a reading like this, or something in that vein could be what's stepping forth for you. And also with the Taurus energy, you're safe, you're secure. You know that you are safe. You are safe in letting go of this past that hasn't been serving you, and you're safe in spinning the wheel of fortune as you are inspired to do so, because you're supported. And I also want to say, if you're a Taurus, this particular time is offering a lot of change, and change can be very scary, especially for people who really just like to keep things the same. Taurus energy has a lot of that. So again, do know that Jupiter's supporting you, luck is supporting you. You'll get through this. We have some words of wisdom from the flowers to share with you, group number 3. We have cyclamen, resignation. Say goodbye to what you no longer need. Yep, so if you're clinging on to something, if you're clinging on to a pattern that doesn't serve you, if you're clinging on to a sense of distrust that the universe is really going to support you, it's time to let that go. And yeah, if you're fighting against some sense of like suffering, release, surrender. We also have bluebell, gratitude. Be thankful for what is good now. Yep, so attitude of gratitude will get you far, especially if you're getting into manifestations. The universe will always send back to you what you and send your energy into. So if you send your energy into things that you're grateful for, you'll get more gratitude. And finally, we have stock. Slow down. The pace must abate before it's too late. Yeah, so that could be resonating with this Knight of Wands in reverse. So you might be trying to push something forward too much. Or again, if you've got momentum going in a direction that really isn't working for you, you need to let that momentum slow down, and then you can redirect. It might not happen instantaneously, or it could happen quite suddenly, but those sudden changes, especially if you have a lot of Taurus energy, are very upsetting and very, lots of upheaval. So let the action take place. Don't try to harvest those karmic gifts that are coming to you before they're ready. Finally, our words of healing wisdom for you, group number 3. It's beautiful red roses. We have express your love through your deeds. So that speaks to me of love languages. If you don't know what love languages are, so everyone expresses their appreciation for other people in slightly different ways. There's, speech, saying affirmations of love. I love you. You're so beautiful, etc., etc. There's deeds, so like doing nice things for other people, and touch. Those are 3 of the prominent ones. There may be others that I might be forgetting, but this is an indication that your actions speak louder than words. And so put your money where your mouth is in terms of what you actually love, both the people and the other things in your life that you love. So again, like resonating that gratitude and showing your gratitude, not just saying your gratitude, will help you a lot, and also help you to reset that energy if you feel like you've overspent yourself because you've not been honoring yourself. That can help a lot. All right, those are my messages for you, group number 3. Thank you so much for coming along. I'd love to hear how this resonated for you. What sort of impressions did you have? What do you think the lessons are that you've really vibrated with or resonated with in this reading? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked this video, you might want to give it a like. And if it was really hitting your vibe, you might like to hit that subscribe button and maybe even the post notifications. It really does help the channel continue to evolve. And we'd love to have you continue on to grow along with us. So, again, these are our messages for today. Thank you so much. I hope to see you again very soon. And until then, as always, go in peace to love and to serve. Namaste.